Yeah. Is there any other of the Brainiac questions? And then I'll let you go.
One more, Junot. If all the world's literature was to vanish tomorrow, what's the one book that you haven't read that you would grab?
Wow, that's a great question, dude. No, I mean that's no, man. No, that's such a great question. It's a tough one because, you know, like there's this thing as the idea of the encyclopedic novel. Most people don't know about this, but like there's this idea that there's a novel that's written that tries to contain like all the information about the world. Yeah, so Oscar Wilde is an attempt at the encyclopedic novel, which attempts to contain all this information. They're kind of common. Lots of people write encyclopedic novels. That's more or less the genre of the book. So I'm almost tempted to grab an encyclopedic novel, a book that has a lot of stuff so that it could use for people to reach out and to sort of, you know. So, you know, like 100 Years of Solitude, for all of its phantasmagorical stuff, has got like an enormous amount of information and plots and little stories in it. You know, 100 Years of Solitude would be really great. But then there's the fact that if all the literature of the world was going to vanish, I'd almost want something to speak to the core experience of what I thought was what we're wrestling with as human beings. And probably I would grab Toni Morrison's Beloved, because as someone who's the product of slavery, like you don't look like me because you got a fucking tan. You know, people in the New World, we look so different because for 400 years you couldn't choose who you could be in love with. You were a breeding experiment. You were bred with other people, or as a friend of mine described it, you were, as a community, we were raped into existence. And the greatest crime of the modern world, not just the crime, but the legacy that we are all living under, it doesn't matter if you just came to the New World yesterday. Capitalism, our global culture, helped create and absorbed all of the tendencies and tensions that created the plantation economy. And so no matter what part of the world you live in, you live under a regime that was determined, that was influenced, that was impartially lives under the shadow of a world that thought it was okay to own people, to breed them and to work them to death. And part of capitalism's rhythm, the reason people have no time for anything, is because this is plantation light.
Absolutely.
And I think a part of me wants a book by a woman, you know, a part of me wants a book by a woman who's some relation to the Caribbean, which Toni Morrison has. She was married to somebody from the Caribbean, and so I'd almost be tempted to grab that book. But then, you know, as a Latino, I'm always thinking like, damn, I want a sister who also has some Latino roots, you know? And probably the best thing that you could do if you would grab an anthology, you know? I'd probably grab an anthology of women of color writers.
But that's a cop-out. That's like I'd tell the genie I want 1,000 wishes.
Yeah. No,
one book, bro.
But I'm down to Beloved, bro. I gave you.
That's a good answer. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's all I got. I didn't mean to sound like Hobbit, but it's just so hard. A book lover asking them to reach for one book, it's like asking a super huge person who loves to eat to just like grab one cookie. Yeah, but thank you. Your question was wonderful.
So what's the answer?
Guys, good luck. You know, really, that's all there is to say. You know, good luck, and thank you for having me. You've been incredibly kind. This has been a wonderful experience, and you're very, very generous. And I wanted to thank your faculty who brought you here, who do the work. Guys, it's easy to be the uncle who comes in once a year. You know, it really is. They call it the Good Time Charlie in English. You know, it's easy to be the Good Time Charlie. The hardest work is the people who are there every day for you. You know, and cute one day versus dependable every day. You tell me who is the greater. And you know, I wish to honor them as well. Thank you so much, you guys.